Hey, everybody. It's Will Stuyvesant with CEO Energy. I just wanted to go through these announcements like we normally do. And, first off, I want to thank all of you that are on the call. We find that the agents that stay plugged into our corporate calls and our evening discussion calls are the ones that are out there that are having consistent activity. And that consistent activity typically means paychecks right behind it. So for those of you that are not aware, we have portals through Direct Energy where you can now do an online sign-up for residential and commercial customers. Residential electricity and gas pay out lump sum commissions up front, and the portal entry is so easy it takes about 5 to 6 minutes to submit an account. And a question I always seem to ask myself is, why would somebody want to join CEO? And the first thing is that there's no investment. And we offer residual income that comes from services that are unconsciously purchased, which essentially makes us recession-proof. We help people who are unknowingly and unnecessarily paying too much for their utility costs. And my favorite part of CEO is the fact that we have absolutely no cap on our income, no cap on our promotions. We have no boss. So as long as you work yourself through the CEO system, you can go out and get promoted as fast as you want to get promoted, and you can go make as much money as you want to make. The sky's the limit. It's up to you, not anyone else, on how much money you can make here. In the past, I brought up how many different ways that we can get paid. Unfortunately, and this is a good unfortunate, they've increased so many ways in how we can get paid that I've actually lost track and count. So just know that it's a lot as you get promoted throughout the system. And, most of you know that I have a financial planning or financial services background. And, I thought, well, what would it take to make $500 a month in CEO, and what would it make to make $500 a month if they had their money invested somewhere? And National Director Nathan Matlich had pointed to me that if somebody had $120,000 invested at 5%, they'd be able to make $500 a month. Now, guys, I don't know if you guys have an extra $120,000 laying around, but it seems like it'd be easier to go out and build a team of agents and go get that $500 a month much quicker than doing that. In addition to that, if you're brand new to CEO, we recommend that you check out our basic training. It's in the back office. It's a blue button above the leaderboard. And in addition to that, we recommend that you get your first 5 accounts, one of which can be your own, the other 4 coming from, mother, sister, best friend, family member, or whatever, just so you can get some experience and get some points towards your first promotion. Another thing that we like to go through on our conference calls is our leaderboard. Those that are on the leaderboard do have checks that are following the production they have on there. So on our natural gas leaderboard, we have number 10, Lisa Cornell, number 9, Jerry Rule, number 8, Chaptai Cohen, number 7, Mark Milstein, number 6, Joe Cudwa, number 5, Michael File, number 4, Will Stuyvesant, number 3, Diana Bernard, number 2, Gary Hosbeck, and number 1, Bob Zabik. On our electricity leaderboard, we have number 10, Annie Serpa, number 9, Lioness, number 8, Megla C, number 7, Tom Z, number 6, Dave Besser, number 5, Noisy Radical Universe, that's a name, number 4, Eli A, number 3, Stephen B, number 2, Ed Sullivan, and number 1, Joe Cudwa. On our telecom leaderboard, we have tied for number 2, Nathan Matlich and Poshan Felix, and number 1, the GTG Group. And on our team edition board, we have tied for number 3, Will Stuyvesant, Mary Sarah, Chaptai Cohen, tied for number 2, Bobby Hill and Libby Elliott, and tied for number 1, Chosen Few Marketing, Sam Calland, and Stephen B. So congratulations to all of you that have made the leaderboards. Those that are on those boards typically are the ones, like I said, that are getting checks to follow. So congratulations on behalf of myself and Nathan and CEO. So, Nate, without further ado, the reins are given back over to you, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Will. You always do a nice job at getting us off to the races, and now some of the individuals who made that leaderboard, it's clear, it's obvious. Those individuals who are up there, week after week, those are the ones who are making the serious money. So I'm just going to go ahead and mute everyone out, and we will jump right into a little bit more training on the Nest thermostat. So just go ahead and hit star 6 in a second here, Will. So, all right, Will, let me know when you're with me.
I'm here.
All right. Well, as we talked about for the past couple weeks here, we got the upfront commissions, residential, Direct Energy nationwide. I think Direct Energy has the largest residential small commercial footprint for natural gas and electricity nationwide. So it's very exciting that not only can we go out and make those upfront commissions, put some fast cash in people's pockets, within a month, 45 days, that sort of thing, but also have the latest and greatest technology that we can bring right to our customers' door at zero additional cost when they sign up for 2-year, 3-year gas and electric residentially with Direct Energy. Will, can you just give us a brief overview on the Nest thermostat and why our CEO Energy consultants would want to add this to their sales, why they would want to put this opportunity to get a Nest thermostat in front of their customers?
Well, first off, it's not necessarily the technology of the Nest, but really what the results are that come from it. And for those of you that are in states that maybe only have electricity or maybe only have natural gas, we now have the opportunity to help people save money on their entire bill, okay? And what I mean by that is for the first 5 or 6 years that we've been with CEO, we've only been able to help them out on their electricity rate or their natural gas rate, or if you're in a dual power state, both. What the Nest will be able to do is lower the overall usage for that client. And now because their usage is down, every part of their bill is going to go down. Their electricity, the cost of their electricity based on their rate, the cost of their electricity based on all of the other fees, their cost of natural gas, and their cost of all of the fees associated with natural gas. So, for example, I guess that I would just leave it with that, Nate, is that we now have an overall solution that essentially makes anybody that has ever had a concern about rate become mute.
So, absolutely. Well, and the neatest thing about this program is, the CEO Energy consultants, even though their clients will be getting a Nest learning thermostat, smart thermostat shipped directly to them, and even though now we have a tangible product that these customers are going to be receiving, the neat thing is that the consultants don't have to do anything different. They don't have to do anything extra. They don't have to handle any of these products. All of these products are shipped out by Direct Energy. The Nest thermostat shipped directly to the customer, so that nothing really changes from our end, but the client gets the additional benefit of the savings from the Nest thermostat. So that's pretty neat that we're not really changing our process about how we go about signing up, to getting this extra Nest thermostat. How do you explain to clients to get them to become a customer with the Nest thermostat? What's your overall approach to that?
Well, I would say that I would go with maybe a 3-legged stool approach, or I call it 3 pillars, okay? And the reason why, when we were first approached with this, Nate, I was thinking, how can we make this as simple as possible for the CEO consultant to explain it to somebody without getting too technical? And by the way, guys, I just want to emphasize this. I'm not a handyman at all, and I know I can install this thermostat. For those of you that might be afraid of that, It has very simple instructions. When they get it, I mean, it's easy to walk through. This does not require you to be a technical genius to figure all of this stuff out. In fact, and if somebody asks, well, how does the thermostat, blah, 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 and how does it work, and how is this and this, if they get, and I've had some questions like this. It doesn't happen very often, but I've had them. The fact of the matter is that thermostat is designed to be smarter than the user, and I know it would be definitely smarter than me, and that might not be saying a lot, but I will say that that's what it's designed for. So just keeping that in mind from the technical infrastructure, very easy to install, very easy to use. So why would somebody want to get Synestia? Well, here's the reason why. If you're like, for example, in Consumers Energy territory in Michigan, you're getting billed 8 to 11 different ways. This is the first part, guys. 8 to 11 different ways. Now, independent studies have shown that the Nest thermostat can save them up to 15% on their cooling costs and 10 to 12% on their heating costs. What does that equate to? Depending on the person, maybe $50 to $300 a year, okay? So we have, like I said, let's just make it real simple. Let's just say every public utility bills 10 different ways, okay? So and some of this you can use, and some of it I wouldn't share with a client. So I would just say, Mr. Client, look, this is what's going on. You're getting billed 10 different ways by the public utility, okay? All of that's primarily kind of on a variable basis. Some of it's fixed, but they typically go up from that fixed point because I've never known a public utility to decrease their usage fees. Have you? No. They'll probably agree with you. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to reduce all 10 of them with this solution I have for you. Now, the solution to that is one of those 10 is on a variable rate. We're going to fix that for you, but that fixed might be a little bit more expensive than what you're paying right now. So that's the second pillar, guys. You got 10 different variables and how they're paying. We're going to lower all of that. The next is we're going to lock it in with a fixed, and we're going to let them know that it's potentially higher than their current variable. And the reason why it's higher, Mr. Client, is because we have a supplier that's going to give you a learning thermostat that's going to learn your behavior and reduce your energy costs. This thermostat, if you were to buy it at Home Depot, costs $250. They're going to give it to you at no cost to you. So just to kind of recap, no, it might sound like a lot. You got 10 different variables going on. We're going to lower all of it and fix one of those variables. That fix is going to be a little higher, and the reason why it's going to be a little higher is they're going to give you a $250 learning thermostat that's going to learn your behaviors as far as what you like in your home and help customize an energy program on its own. You don't have to be totally in part of it, and reduce your overall cost. The numbers I've used, guys, I just use 10% across the board and plug in the numbers that way. And like I said, it might be, depending on the client and their usage, anywhere from $50 to $300 a year. I personally have not gotten into specific numbers at all with clients. I don't tell them it's $86.32 or any of that. So I hope that doesn't sound complicated, because once you really wrap your mind around the three tools, 10 different variables, it might be more, it might be less. Just assume 10 different variables. We're going to fix one of them. The next, we're going to fix that rate. That rate's going to be a little higher than one of the variables, and that variable is going to be higher because we're giving you a $250 thermostat at no cost to you. So there's two major parts of what you're giving them, guys. The savings, because of their usage going down, plus a $250 thermostat. I hope all of you guys are with me. And by the way, we got a couple things that I think that Nate and I have to cover, but we'll take any questions after this.
So, Will, I really like how you've simplified the process of just, explaining the value of the Nest thermostat, to customers. I've been doing this for 5 years, plus or minus. Seems like you've been doing it about the same amount of time. And over the years, the customers, they say, what if rates go up? What if rates go down? What if I use more energy? What if I use less energy? The neat thing about our customers choosing a plan that includes a Nest thermostat at zero additional cost is that we can truthfully and honestly say to these customers, hey, look, to be honest, it doesn't really matter if you use more, if you use less, if public utility rates go up or down or left or right or sideways, because this Nest thermostat is going to help you reduce your energy consumption and therefore reducing your entire energy bill by 10 to 15%. 10 to 12% on the heating side, 15% on the cooling side, and there's really not that many products or things on the market that have such a substantial impact on a customer's bill. Anything that I've heard of or that I know of as it pertains to energy efficiency, it costs all kinds of money. You have to have a license, bonded, electrician, installer, whatever it might be, whereas, all of our residential customers sign up Direct Energy, 2 or 3 year contract, boom, get the Nest thermostat, $250 value, no additional cost, 10 to 15% savings. It's pretty unbelievable to me just looking at the simplicity, the zero additional cost above and beyond just signing up with Direct Energy, and then the massive impact, the energy cost reduction and the energy savings there. So, we've talked about the benefits, right, that come with the Nest thermostat, for ease of sign up, reduced energy consumption, reduced energy bills, but one of the biggest benefits, I think, is also to our sales force. I think we really created a win-win compensation program that includes a lot of value for the customer. Will, what does this mean to our sales force as far as compensation?
Well, we've discussed for months on the corporate calls to go out and get your first 5 for 50, right? And which essentially meant that you went out and you got 5 residential customers in natural gas or electricity and got your 5 for 50 out of the way. Well, if we sell it with the Nest, it's more like 5 for 75. And if it's a dual power state, it's 5 for $125. So essentially what happens is that, our income has just grown by 50% if you're a writing agent and selling it. If you're somebody that's out there building a team, then I kind of ran some numbers that just went by points alone. If you were doing 100 points a month as a senior selling the Nest, I think equates to about $400 a month, and in a regional selling the Nest, it was 200 points. I think it's about $1,600 a month. So I guess you guys can just figure out in your own minds what an extra $400 a month or an extra $1,600 a month would do for your budget, but I know what it would do for mine.
So, absolutely will. And, the really neat thing that we've done here with the upfront Direct Energy commissions for the residential gas and electricity, plus the upfront commissions on the Nest thermostat, plus the doubling bonuses that are attached to these that I'll let you take a little deeper dive into. What we've done here is you and I have been doing this for 5 years. And, quite frankly, for the first year or two, we were having to figure things out. We were having to bang our heads against the wall. We were having to try to find ways to get customers sign up, build value, build up a large enough paycheck on a residual basis to, just to cover our bills and reassure that, hey, look, long term we're gonna make a lot of money in this. What I believe that we've done in the past year and a half is going to allow individuals to make money immediately, so that they get excited, they bring on more customers, bring on more teammates, so they're making more money immediately. They're going to be with us much longer because they're making more money faster with us. And through all this excitement and all of these residential customers being signed up, upfront commissions, I guarantee that people are going to start running into some really nice small business and even big business opportunities just through talking to tons and tons of these residential customers. Because in today's age, it just amazes me how many small business owners are out there that obviously they own a home, they also own 1, 2, 3. Some people own a couple businesses, some rental units, some warehouses, whatever it might be, or they know someone, or they're so excited and so impressed with that thermostat savings that they're going to start referring their friends who own businesses also to us. And so, it's kind of like a 1-2 punch in my mind. The first punch is, hey, look, where you get cash in your pocket immediately, we're going to save your customers 10, 12, 15% on their heating and cooling bills. But also, long term, and the reason why I'm doing this is, you're bringing on those business customers. You're getting that residual income. You're building up that residual income so you don't have to have $120,000 in the bank, which, is next to impossible for 99% of society, to make that residual $500 a month. So on the front end, we're getting people paid fast. On the back end, we're helping them run into those additional business opportunities so that they can create a real nice book of customers with that strong residual income. So we'll, we have something called a doubling bonus. Can you talk a little bit more about that as it applies to these upfront commissions and Nest thermostat commission?
Yeah, I just want to kind of say this. All of these details are wonderful, and I mean, talking about the Nest and everything else. And I think now, for the first time in CEO history, we have the opportunity, like Nathan had just said, to eliminate price being an issue of what the public utility current rate is versus what ours is. Because of the Nest, we've given them a value added. The biggest thing, if we're going to talk about building means that you need to get to senior as fast as possible. And how do you do that? You go out and get your 5 for 50 or 5 for 75 or 5 for 125 as fast as possible. Go out and get 2 or 3 people on your team and go get your 13 residential customers done and out of the way. That is like your homework. Like, you're not even you're just in tryouts with CEO until you're senior. Literally, you're just in the tryout. So how do you get there? Just sign up people that that you can help with the Nest thermostat. Once you're at senior, that's when the money really starts to begin in CEO. And I believe, like I said, with doubling bonuses, I mean, it's kind of complicated how you look at it. Just know this. If you and your team, after you're a senior consultant, close 6 houses a month, you're going to double. And what does that mean? You're going to double on every direct agent you brought on after you're a senior, and you're going to double on every agent below that. It's very complicated to explain on the phone. That's why I kind of stuck with the point. If you're doing 100 points on your team, just in residential, selling the Nest, you're going to make $400 a month. 100 points is 50 accounts. As a regional, 200 points a month is $1,600 a month, and that's you and a team of agents. The reality of it is this: And this is how I think in terms of CEO. Anybody can go out there and sell somebody something. I mean, we are no longer, with the compensation plan that we have now and the ability to make upfront money with Direct Energy, we are no longer in the customer acquisition, personal producer business, in my personal opinion. I believe that we're in the people business. And here's the reason why I think differently is I know too many people that are struggling to pay their bills. I know too many people that aren't saving any money. I know too many people that have no money in retirement. In fact, I just heard that the average retirement account balance, no matter what the age group, is $10,000. So the reality of it is I think I'm going to find more people that need to make extra money than I am customers personally. And I feel that same way for every agent that's on this call or that will ever join CEO, that you're going to find more people that need to make extra money than they do saving money with one of our programs. Doesn't matter what it is. Nest Thermostat, just doing one of our without the thermostat, or even doing commercial business. So if you guys really want to go out and make it big here, in my personal opinion, go out and find some people you know that need to make some extra money. This isn't a job. This is an opportunity for them to figure out or give themselves a little bit breathing room. An extra $400 a month as a senior, I mean, that's probably an extra $300,000, $500,000, 30 years from now or whatever. An extra $500 a month can get somebody pretty much completely debt-free, in most situations within 5 to 7 years, an extra $500, including their mortgage. I mean, what would it be like to not owe anybody anything? I mean, what would it be like to be able to retire with dignity? I know there's a lot of people on this call that might not be saving enough. And you know what? Maybe paying off debt and saving money isn't sexy to you, and that's not why you're doing CEO. Whatever it is, let's say you want to go on vacations or you want a car. Matt Gershenberger has brought up that his dad wanted a boat. I mean, whatever that why is, just figure it out and then get with your regional senior or national director to help you come up with a game plan to get there. I know this. If you're actively doing CEO week in, week out, not taking a week off, that don't mean a lot of effort and hours of effort, you're going to double. And if you double, you're going to make a lot more money. I mean, it's the simple of it. If you're sporadically doing this where you're on a week and then you take 2 or 3 weeks off and you come back or what, it's going to be tougher for you to double. So, I mean, this CEO, now with all of our bonuses, the upfronts, the Nest Thermostat has created such a perfect storm for somebody. I really think, and I tell my team this all the time, if somebody really worked this and built a team and helped them make a bunch of money, I really believe that everybody on this phone, I don't care what you're making in your job, that you could match that income if you went out and built a team focused on getting a whole bunch of people paid as fast as possible. There's going to be more large commercial accounts that are going to come out of it. There's going to be telecom accounts. There's going to be audits. There's going to be all this. But it all comes from recruiting a massive organization. And I don't know of a better way to make more money that does not cost anybody anything. And the only way, the way we get customers is by reducing costs of what they're already spending. So I'm sorry for my long-winded answer to the doubling bonus. But just know this, if you're active every month, and active means you and your team are submitting accounts, you're going to double.
Awesome. Well, and I always appreciate hearing, your thoughts on how you think about consumer energy options and the opportunity and, what people need to do to be successful. As I was sitting here listening to you, I started thinking about, I have some friends who are like, work for like a Verizon or work for an auto dealership and, or work for some of these other, hardware stores and things like that. And there's a manager of these different stores. And so they have incentives to where, they get their base salary plus, if they hit their numbers and they do well, then they make a little extra money and they have that variable compensation to where they need to be a leader and they get paid more if their team and if their location produces. And, our leadership compensation is, very similar to that. People are going to get paid no matter what for their personal production, for their team's production. But I've never heard of, in the auto industry or, or the hardware industry or Verizon or whatever it might be. I've never heard of big companies saying, hey, guess what? If you reach these minimum amount of numbers every single month, we are going to double your leadership compensation. I've never heard that before. Consumer Energy Options, I think we're one of the only ones that says, hey, guess what? If you stay plugged in, if you stay engaged, and if you and your team continue to produce a minimum level every month, we are going to double your leadership compensation. So when you're first starting out, that could mean that instead of making $150, you make $200 that month. But as time goes by and you become a regional director, national director, even a senior consultant, I've seen some agents to where they're senior regional director, whatever it might be, and they've been working hard. They hit their doubling bonuses, and their paycheck was right around $1,000, and then they decided to take a month off, and they got distracted, and the next month their paycheck was maybe $800 or $900, and they're like, oh man, I need to make sure to stay active so that I can get those doubling bonuses and make twice as much money off of my team's production. And so it's just a little extra carrot out there. We want to have the most lucrative compensation plan and have all of the incentives in the right place so that people can get excited about doubling bonuses. And so it could be making twice as much upfront money on gas, electricity, or the Nest thermostat with direct energy, or it could be doubling on your residual income that your team has produced and contributed towards. The other part that I just want to talk about real quick is that as people are out there trying to think about, hey, let's reach out to this individual, let's bring them on as a customer for their home, let's reach out to this individual, let's bring them on as a business customer. One thing that I've noticed is that there's certain individuals who either have a couple different homes, apartment complexes, businesses, that there's Consumer Energy Options agents that have been chasing these accounts. It could be for a couple months, it could be for a couple years. And the neatest thing and the coolest thing that we have going for us, especially once you're senior consultant, regional director, national director, with your larger leadership compensation, is that I have two success stories to where an individual had been chasing these large businesses for a long time. He knew that he could save them money on the gas or the electric. Some of these businesses use 1 million, 2 million, 3, 4, 5 million kilowatts per year, hundreds of thousands of therms. And as soon as this individual, the light went off in their head saying, hey, I'm a regional director, I should go and approach them and say, hey, I know that energy savings is great, but what's even better is if you get to save all the money on your energy bills for your home and businesses, and you get to collect the paychecks and the commissions that are tied to that. What do you say? And as soon as these agents converted their mindset from I want to collect as many customers as I can to I want to help as many people make an extra $500, $1,000 a month, whatever it might be, as soon as they made that conversion in the way that they're thinking, they started rapidly growing their team and bringing on these heavy hitters that, guess what? It's an automatic that they're going to sign up their home and all of their businesses as soon as they're a consultant because they want to save money, they want to make money. I had another gentleman that took me 3 years, talking to him, to get him on board with us. But he's got amazing connections. He does energy consulting for the largest school districts, municipalities, everything like that. And finally, when I went to him, I said, hey, look, I'll sign you up as a consultant. I'll do I'll do all of the work, and guess what? Just by you opening the door, making the introductions, helping connect the dots, you'll get paid the commissions. And so, I had some success doing that. This gentleman who had been in the energy consulting industry for a long time didn't want to, get his, start his own gas or electricity brokerage company just because it's a lot of hoops and a lot of work to get licensed and this, that, and other. He's probably spent about, 5 to 10 hours working on accounts with me, and on a residual basis, he's probably going to make upwards of $1,000 a month on a residual, just for, working with me to bring those accounts on the consumer energy options. So, as you're out and about, kind of like what I said, what Will said, it's great to go out and to want to be a personal producer, learn all about our programs, learn how to sign things up. But, what's really needed, where you can really start doubling and making the big compensation, is by teaching others how to do it, helping them, sign up their own account, make money, bring on customers, and leverage those connections that they already have. So, with that, Will, I don't know if you had anything else that you had to say, or if you want me to open up the line for some questions.
Well, I just one quick last thing. I've seen a lot of different sales models and commission structures with so many different industries, and very rarely, from the very beginning, starting with a company, do you have the ability to build a team and override those directs by. Normally, it's around 5 or 10% is what you get. On gas, it's 35% if you're using direct energy, and if it's a larger residual commercial account, it's 33%. And the other thing too, guys, I've been around this deal, and so has Nate. I have not had a commercial account that was maybe, let's say, 4,000 MCF or 40,000 CCF, or the equivalent of, doing 400 or 600,000 kilowatt hours if you're an electricity state. I've never had an account like that has taken me less than 6 months to even get the bills. Most of them took a year. And I with the direct energy portals and the ability to build a team, I think I've just been seeing it. I've had agents that are submitting business and stuff like that it's totally doable to go out and recruit some folks, help them get some money, paychecks in their pockets right away, and make $400. 4,000 MCF is $400 a year. You could easily just recruit a team going strictly just off of residential, make $400 a month. All these people, Nate, that you had brought up at the store, if they're all $10 an hour workers, not rocket science to show somebody how to save money on their house. And they might make more per house than they make in an hour at their job. In fact, my ex-wife is a line worker at Flint Truck and Bus, GM's Truck and Bus plant, and I think she makes about $15 an hour. So just to put things in terms of a job. So anyway, that's all I've got. Nate, you great perspective on so many different things, and let's open up the lines. I'm sure a lot of people have questions in regards to the Nest. So,
all right, here we go. Hold on a second, Will. All right, everyone's unmuted. Does anyone have any comments, success stories, questions for Will and I?
Hi, it's Annie. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
For the Nest thermostat, does that apply just for new customers? If you already have somebody signed up, do they have that option to take advantage of that?
So that is for new customers only, with direct energy. So, they would have to sign a new, 2 or 3 year contract, gas or electricity, with direct energy. In order to do that. If you have a customer that's with Constellation, Santana, Nordic Energy, whatever it might be, that you're converting from one of our other suppliers to direct energy, then you choose the Nest thermostat option. Then of course you could they could take advantage of that also.
Okay,
There's
thank you.
probably a couple of things that I forgot to say in my explanation too, and I do explain this and I have explained it to the client. We cannot sell this to people that rent. The Nest thermostat cannot be sold to people that rent. They have to own the home. And the other is there is a $200 for residential. There's a $200 cancellation fee, and they have to return the Nest even if they move. Now, guys, this is not an issue if it's not an issue to you, meaning that I don't really get any negative feedback about the cancellation fee because they're getting a $250 item plus they're getting the savings. So if they know they're going to move, then I would recommend just going in with one of our other options that we have with direct. So I just wanted to clarify that. And if they're an existing direct energy client, we cannot sell them the Nest until their contract is up with direct energy.
Any other questions?
Hey, this is Bob Zabik. I got a comment, and that is I already have a programmable thermostat, and there is no question that it will yield the savings within the range you're talking about. So, and yet I'm still tempted to go after this one. I'm very intrigued by it because it's even more automatic. It's self-learning. And I'm probably going to go off and get one of those. And it looks like a neat device. But the point is, with a customer, if there's a customer with an existing programmable thermostat, this still represents a good potential for savings.
Thanks, Bob.
I want to just add to that, guys. CEO Corporate is going to be sending out a link that I found earlier today that had independent studies that were done on the Nest, that were independent of the Nest company, independent of direct energy, and independent of CEO to see if this thermostat really saves anybody money. And one of the test markets they did was, did the Nest run, how did it run against a programmable thermostat compared to like what Bob just said? Because you might run into, I already got one of those, I don't need it. It was an additional 2 to 3% in savings per electricity and per gas. So just a FYI on that. And in addition to that, just one more thing. The Nest uses Wi-Fi, so all of your settings and stuff can be online. So if the power goes out, you don't have to reset all of your settings and things like that like you might have to with a programmable thermostat. And so anyway, just a couple tidbits to add to what Bob just said. And by the way, you probably will get that as an objection. I already have a programmable thermostat. Yep, independent studies have shown that it saves money over that. You don't have to get into the percentages, so you can just say that it does.
And hey, this is Malcolm. I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Malcolm.
Yeah, hey, in a dual state, if someone has an electric plan with us and they opt to do the gas plan with the thermostat, that's doable, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to mention. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. I think the only place that if you order gas and electricity, with direct energy for the same home, I believe, that they wouldn't necessarily send you out 2 Nest thermostats because guess what, you only have one home, So, but if you do have an existing plan and you want to do the other commodity, I'd say go for it. You can do that all day long.
One thing, Nate, that we failed to mention, Malcolm, because he said this, reminded me, there's a lot of propane and fuel oil that's used on the East Coast, and we are deregulated for residential electricity with direct energy in most of those states. Now, we can't sell propane or fuel oil, but if we sell them a Nest thermostat with their electricity, we have an opportunity now to save them money on their propane and their fuel oil because they won't be using as much. And I just know this propane and fuel oil is a heck of a lot more expensive than natural gas in most cases. So just another point for you to consider too, guys, as far as how big this opportunity really is.
Yeah. And, even Will, I live out here in Montana, and my parents live in a utility where both gas and electricity are regulated. And I just saw such a value in the Nest thermostat that I actually called them up and I said, hey, even at $250, you should go buy this thing because it's going to save you all this money via efficiency on your gas and electric. And they also travel a ton. They take off for 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time. They're gone from their house a lot of times. My dad's obsessed with like walking over to the thermostat, turning it on and off and on and off. Every time they get home and leave the house, and at night he has it set to go cooler and all this other stuff. And I said, Dad, why don't you just get this Nest thermostat, control it from your iPad, control it from your smartphone, and save all this extra money. And it sounds like he's probably go out and buy one. I've had individuals who, they have these really small apartments that they don't really spend that much money at all on gas and electricity anyways, and I've seen people want to sign up for the Nest thermostat option because they want to be able to monitor and control their thermostat while they're at work, or they want to be able to turn on their heating or air conditioning when they leave the office, so when they get home in 10 or 15 minutes that it's at the exact right temperature, and there's all kinds of neat things that you can do with it since it's connected to the to Wi-Fi. So the benefits are the energy savings, but then also the connected technology and control that way. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, this is Ed from Boston. How you doing?
Yeah, go ahead, Ed.
I had a guy that had his own house and he had 2 vacation homes. How many can they get, and when do they have to stop paying for these?
Well, I could only assume that if he wanted to sign up and all 3 of his homes and get Nest thermostats for each of those, I mean, I'd say go for it. It looks like you have to sign up for a 2 or 3 year contract in every location. So
okay.
He would have to be with Direct Energy for at least 2 years, in every situation. But, he could sign up for a plan for all 3 of those houses and get 3 Nest thermostats.
Okay.
So.
All great questions, guys.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, I figure we'll wrap it up here. Do you have any final words of wisdom as we wrap up the conference call today?
Just a reminder, guys, that Nathan and I do our team calls on Monday and Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And, this, never in the history of CEO have I felt that there's more opportunity for everybody we talk to make money with this. I thought maybe the first 4, maybe even 5 years that we were in this business, we were primarily dealing with commercial salespeople, and now we have the ability to go out and, Nathan, you made me even think, working at Verizon or Hardware, that you could take a $10, $15 an hour worker, and I guarantee you he knows a whole bunch of people that live somewhere, or she might know a whole bunch of people that live somewhere, and they can go get some Nest thermostats in those homes, and that person probably knows more people that need to make more money too. And, one thing that I try never to forget is even our director of growth and development, when he got into a business similar to ours, he was a college student, an extra $600 a month, and he built an organization over time of 22,000 agents. So the biggest thing is to build it big here, not to prejudge what somebody might do or not do, and really go out there and help people make some money, and go out and get your personal points out of the way so you can be in the higher positions like regional or national. The most points you ever need in your entire career or most of the number of accounts is anywhere from 40 to 100 to cover your national. The 40 to 100 accounts, I mean, what would it take to be in that position? I mean, when you're a national, especially now with all these doubling bonuses and stuff, I mean, that's where you can really go out and make six figures. And for those of you that have jobs, I don't know if it's a possibility that you can make six figures in your job, but it's a possibility here. In fact, I know that it's possible to make seven figures here. We just got to get there. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, shoot, man, thanks for joining us. Your words of wisdom are always appreciated. So, you know, I'm absolutely on fire with the opportunities that we have with consumer energy options. You know, there's absolutely no excuses why anyone couldn't come in here and do very well. You know, we have anyone and everyone has two different opportunities to plug into training every single week. You know, Tuesday during the day, either Monday or Tuesday night on your calls and my team conference calls. You know, we have a nationwide product offering. We have upfront money where you can make money, put it in your pocket within 30 to 45 days. You know, we have, you know, residual income. We have electronic sign-ups so that you can sign up customers at any hour of the day, any day of the week. And you can bring on as many accounts and build your team as large as you can. And you know, the other day I came across another company, and what they said that they had is they allowed every single one of their individuals to have a virtual franchise. And I thought that was kind of interesting, and they charged a bunch of money to, you know, give people this virtual franchise. And honestly, you know, we have the exact same thing that doesn't cost anything. Everyone that joins us has a legitimate virtual franchise that they can grow to the max. And so, you know, what it took you and I, Will, you know, to do in 3, 4, 5 years, you know, I think that if someone's hungry enough, and if they just get out and they just are a doer, you know, it's not rocket science. It's just a matter of doing things. I think that someone could hit the amount of money that you and I are making today in a year and a half, maybe less, maybe more. You know,
I think much less.
Yeah,
I think somebody right now today joining CEO can make more money than you and me faster than we did when we first came into this. And the race really is who's going to get that person, me or you.
yeah.
Or somebody on this call, maybe somebody on this call. I challenge anybody that call on the call right now to be the first to get that person that Nate and I are talking about. And I think everybody has that opportunity to go out and make more money than Nate and I made in the first 5 years of this business. So,
yeah. And I think that the neatest thing is that the way our compensation structure is set up is that someone could come in today, and a year from now, 2 years from now, they could be making 2, 3, 4, 5 times more money than you or I, Will, are making, who have been doing it, you know, 5 years longer than they are. And, you know, that's when you know you have a great compensation plan, because an individual that comes and joins the organization at any time can very easily be the number one top earner, you know, regardless of when they join us. So, you know, we're on to something big here. Hopefully everyone goes out and, you know, just continues to, you know, plug in these calls, building their team, bringing on accounts. And if you need any help at all, give Will a shout, give me a shout, and you know, we'll definitely see you at the top, because the bottom is already full. Right, Will?
You guys have a great week.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.